Alright guys, so we set this scenario up here. I'm going to let Nick kind of pan around here so he can kind of show you what's going on while I talk about it. So this is a pretty elaborate scenario. This is just like saying, we're pretending we're playing an orbital assault list. This is just combining several ideas so that you guys get where we're going with this. So we're going to talk about several scenarios all in this one setup. This is kind of an ideal scenario, I understand that, but this is just to teach you multiple ways on how to deal with the night all at once. So essentially what's going on here, we've dropped in this Charybdis over here, deployed out our quad mortar battery. So they'll only get a snapfire this turn, but we're setting it up so it can dump Sunder rounds into this night and other nights in later turns. So these guys are going to be very good at shooting them, but we definitely don't want the night to be assaulting these guys. So to prevent that, when we've dropped our drop pods in, we've kept in mind we want to drop to where when these guys get out, we can deploy in multiple zones to hit its shields from multiple angles, but also paying attention to where you put the pods so that he doesn't have enough room, because remember his base is 4 1/4 inches wide, so as long as you have a 6 1/4 inch gap, he can't fit between there without assaulting. So he's not allowed, he can't move through here to get to those guys without getting rid of these pods first. So on this side, I put these guys out in front of this building. They would normally deploy in and shoot through the windows, but you wouldn't be able to see them. So we've come in, we've disembarked from this pod. There's 6 melta-guns in here. His dividing line is here. So you try to, if you can, evenly space them out as evenly as possible. So we're going to try to put 3 in his side arc and 3 in his rear arc so that he can only protect from 3 of them. Then on the other side, we've come in with this Dreadnought that has 2 arm-mounted grav guns. We've done the Sneaky Pete here. We're splitting his front and side facing with the Dreadnought's body, so he's only going to get the save if he chooses one of these against one of the 2 guns. The Dreadnought is also sealing him in with the 2 drop pods, so he can't get out without assaulting the Dreadnought, which we'll get to in a second. Then back behind him here, we've dropped this other pod in and placed it to where it's pinching him between these melta-gun guys and this pod, and all these veterans back here have melt bombs. So we've staged them to where we got them as close as we could while shielding them, so that if this survives all that, maybe these guys will last long enough to where they can move in around all this stuff. You've created this, fence for this night that it's going to struggle to get out of. You place these guys on the outside barrier of the fence, so then after they've waited their turn after disembarking from a vehicle, they can then assault, clamp a bunch of melta-bombs on it. So, after all this shooting, let's say this thing didn't die. Well, it's got a bunch of bad choices here because you've got everything in terrain. The front of these guys are not in terrain, but in order to get to them to assault, it's going to have to basically be in difficult terrain before it declares its assault. So this goes back to this thing dropping to I-1 if it chooses to assault. So you've already dropped some grav markers on here, so even though it's in open, it's already going to have to roll 2 dice to try to move. It could really mess up its rolls, not move very far. Then it's going to have to declare a charge, which it's not going to subtract the 2, but let's say it wants to assault this Dreadnought. This Dreadnought fights at I-4 with a strength 10 chain fist. This thing's dropping to I-1. You may very well rip it to shreds before it even gets to fight. Over here, if it goes after the melta-gun guys, you're going to get an Overwatch with all these melta-gun guys. It's going to get into combat with them after your Overwatch if you don't kill it with Overwatch. Normally, it could possibly, it could kill a lot of these guys, but the Sergeant he's going to go simul with the melta-bomb because they're dropping to I-1. Let's say it turned around, blew this drop pod up with its shooting, then, shot the stubber at these guys so it was able to assault them. If this doesn't explode and it's just wrecked and he's got to assault through it, once again, it's difficult terrain, so when he charges into these vets, he's going to drop to I-1. They're going to be able to simultaneously clamp 10 melta-bombs as he's swinging. So once again, this is just displaying all the ways to combat knights. Their base is big. You can hem them in easy. It doesn't really take that many models to block them off from large parts of the board. They don't have frag grenades. If you have stuff like dreadnoughts with chain fists, whatever, just always keep them in cover so that, and make them kill you with shooting. Their shooting's not that potent, I'm telling you. Some of them have decent shooting, the Atropos, stuff like that. A lot of them, like the Acheron, something like that, if you use dreadnoughts, I mean, that big flamer is not going to do much against dreadnoughts. It'll kill all these little guys, but you just have to be, know your enemy, like I said. Focus in on the knights that are a threat. So if you have, if they have an Atropos or they have an Acheron or something that's really going to screw up your battle plan, use your Lightning Strike Fighter, use your Alpha Strike potential to get rid of that one, so that the knights that are left are ones you can deal with more mundane units like this. So I hope that helps you guys on how to combat knights. I did want to touch on, because flyers are one of the best things to attack these with. Really the only anti-air in a knight